I'm making this video mostly as a response to myself and my video that I made a while back where I said that DC was moving in a very positive direction, specifically with their movies, as I thought letting James Gunn take control of the DCU and everything it was making was a pretty damn good idea. Now since then, there's been a lot of movies that have been announced and have already come out, and I'll say, in comparison to the competition, I'd say James is doing pretty damn good. Now first off, I gotta establish some prerequisites. I'm not an insane comic book reader. I've only read maybe 40 runs between Marvel and DC combined. I do not memorize my writers' names, and I don't cosplay. Yet. If this information discredits anything that I'm about to say, then let me remind you that our tickets are weighed the exact same. In fact, I live in New York. They're probably weighed more than yours. So, my favorite DC character is Swamp Thing, my favorite MCU movie is Thunderbolts, and the DCU appears to me like fine dining compared to what I can only call an imminent asteroid of Marvel shit. Framing this as blind love for everything DC in the last 2 years would just be foolish. I didn't even see Supergirl in theaters, mostly because I didn't care for the movie in its advertising nor in its plot. But if somebody who has twins for parents hears that, they'll most likely think that that's a point in their favor, thinking that it proves that people don't care about the DCU in general. Now, my response to that is that you couldn't pay me to watch most MCU movies again, regardless of how successful they were in the box office or not, because success is not defined by money. It's defined by how well you actually capture the idea that you're actually trying to talk about. A lot, and I mean a lot, of the MCU suffers from some serious filtering, where they'll take the ideas from these comic books that have generations of build-up to them, and they'll just squeeze out just enough to where it can be put into a corporate safe movie. Take the Hulk, for example. A creature and character who is by his very nature incredibly psychologically challenging and honestly haunting when you read his actual stories. They turn this into a marketable smashing machine. Bruce Banner and his endeavors with the Hulk, they're not just skimmed over, they're completely skipped, and in all parts his stories are completely taken out of context and sprinkled into other people's movies. And we're just supposed to accept this as the creative standard for superhero movies? I don't think so. What the fuck? One thing I hold great respect for James Gunn for, both on his work in and out of the MCU, is his ability to hold on to the bonds and the development of the characters that he's writing and directing for. And this is a skill that, while was present in early MCU, is completely absent from the current one. For example, Shang-Chi's about to be in Doomsday. What the fuck has Shang-Chi been doing for the last 5 years of my life? I saw him in one movie and he's disappeared until then. Sam is about to reunite with Steve. He's had one mediocre movie since then and barely had any development in that one because he was too busy fighting Hulk's villains, because Hulk is too busy developing off screen as well. Do you see my issue? All these characters are going through so much intentionally off screen, and we're just supposed to assume what stature of their story they're at by the time they're in their next team up movie. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't build an actual interesting universe. It just shoves a bunch of A-list actors in our face and expects us to spend money to go see them, which we do. People will tell you over and over, oh, James needs to stop playing with these niche characters and get the heavy hitters in. People who watch the MCU will tell you this, but Hulk hasn't had a solo movie in almost 20 years. So, who's really wasting the heavy hitters when you think about it? James Gunn choosing to greenlight these projects about these lower B-tier characters that will not pull in billions of dollars upon release obviously shows that he thinks these projects have more potential for actual interesting storytelling. There's a reason why I'm excited to see Clayface more than any MCU movie that's come out in the last few years, and even though it's probably not going to make anywhere near as much money, why the fuck does that matter to me? I don't get money from this shit making money. When you look back at these Snyderverse movies and what they were doing, the only actual nostalgic sense of accomplishment that any of these movies have, that any of the Snyder fans can tell you that they have, is that they turned a profit. That's all they can say, is that they made a lot of money. These are based off of stories about heroes that are supposed to inspire hope, justice, morality, love of your common man, all that. And the only thing that these adaptations could do to honor all all of that beautiful storytelling is say they turned a profit. How the fuck are you a comic book fan and you think turning a profit is a sign of success of the adaptation? Must I point out once again, Thor: The Dark World turned a profit. Thor: Love and Thunder turned a profit. Captain Marvel turned a profit. The motherfucking Minecraft movie turned a profit. Boss Baby turned a profit. How many more examples do you need before you realize that making a lot of money does not mean you made a good movie? I have it slated in my mind already that Avengers Doomsday is probably going to make more money than Spider-Man Brand New Day just did. I also have it slated in my mind that Avengers Doomsday is going to be the worst movie I've probably seen this decade. And that's not hate, that's not slander, that's not defending the DCU or provoking, that's neither. That is something I can genuinely see with my own creative thoughts. Just because I can see that this movie is creatively devoid of anything prosperous or interesting at all. And God, listen to me right now as I say this. If this movie ends up somehow being good, paint my shit green and I'll shake it like She-Hulk. Because you could not convince me that this movie has anything creative going into it at all. But the Infinity Saga, it had its flaws. But that's okay, because at least it felt like a combined package that somebody actually thought about. This is the textbook definition of kicking a horse while it's dead, and I forbid anyone from convincing James Gunn that this is the direction that we need to go in. I speak now to the general public, and most importantly, any rational-minded individual right now. There's always going to be disadvantages financially for the DCU going forward. Some people don't like James Gunn. Some people don't like DC in general. Some people are Snyder fans and want to see the DCU fail inherently. And some people will tell you to your face, just don't want to see some woman on screen. That is all fine and dandy. But hear me when I say this. Don't let what other people don't find interesting disinterest you. You want to see a movie because you're interested? Watch it. You don't want to see a movie because you're not interested? Don't watch it. That's all fine. But let's not pretend like we all get the things that we're interested in. I've been trying to see a MCU Blade movie since the MCU existed, and we couldn't even get that. So, I bid you adieu with this. The Russos lick dick, Feige sucks balls, and if they play Doom and Doomsday, I'm burning down the walls. Amen.